As climate change impacts communities across the country, one program in California is taking action. The California Climate Action Corps pays residents to help prepare the state, planting trees, reducing food waste and preventing wildfires. Since 2020, nearly 1,000 Californians have completed the fellowship program, and it's also inspired the American Climate Corps, launched by the White House this summer. For more, my colleague Carl Nasman spoke with California's Chief Service Officer, Josh Fryday, and Climate Corps Fellow, Julia Gallaway.
Josh, I just want to start with you. I think that there's this feeling sometimes with a lot of people that there isn't much that us normal folk can do when it comes to climate change. How does this program in California help citizens take meaningful action?
It's why we created the Climate Corps. It's why Governor Newsom wanted to lead on this issue. We created Climate Corps to empower and engage all Californians in helping us tackle the existential crisis of our time. And we, in a place like California, where climate change is not academic, it's not something that's going to happen in the future, it's happening to us now. We knew that in addition to leading on big policy, we also had to mobilize our most important asset, which is the nearly 40 million people that call California home. And that's exactly what our Climate Corps has done since we started.
Yeah, California really is a state that's on the front lines of climate change. And Julia, you're one of more than 300 fellows in this program, mostly young people. You're in the middle of your 11-month fellowship. What does that experience look like for you? What are the sorts of projects that you've been working on?
It's been fantastic. I've been able to try so many different things since I've been here. So I work at the County of San Diego Department of Public Works, Solid Waste Planning and Recycling, as well as the Department of Parks and Recreation. And just between both of those departments, I've been able to do all sorts of career exploration. So with the public works side, I work closely with the state policies such as Senate Bill SB 1383. And in that, I get to go out on site visits. I talk to the local businesses. I talk to multifamily complexes. I talk to residents and help them figure out how they're managing their waste, especially their organic waste. And that's the big priority right now.
And that's a state bill, I believe, that would mandate composting across the state. Is that right?
Correct. Its goal is to reduce the short-lived climate pollutants such as methane and carbon dioxide and nitrous gases. And so with this one, it is now requiring you to have all three waste streams. And we go out there and make sure everyone is doing just that. We also focus on what I think is the really unique aspect of SB 1383 is the food recovery component. And that one, it sets a target for 20% of any edible food surplus to be recovered for human consumption across the state. Wow. And I think that's so unique for any sort of bill that just does dual tasks and helps the community even more.
And Josh, we're seeing so much now the effects of climate change, of course, across the world, but specifically in many U.S. states. Do you think that this program could be replicated to help other parts of the U.S. start to adapt and start to prepare for the effects of global warming?
Well, we're seeing it replicated. Climate Corps has already spread to several other states across our country. And recently, President Biden announced the creation of the American Climate Corps. So we're seeing this model work. What Julia described in her work exemplifies the power of Climate Corps, that she's able to not just tackle climate change in a real way, but she's able to provide capacity for the state of California, for the county that she works in. And most importantly, in doing her work, she's engaging literally thousands of members of the community to also be part of the solution. And it's a model that's empowering and it's inspiring and it's working. And it's why we're seeing it starting to spread across the country.
Yeah, well, Julia, when you're out there doing your fellowship, what are people telling you? When you interact with the community, what do people say?
People are asking all sorts of questions. They really want to understand why we're out there and what we're doing. They're always very excited when they hear about the California Climate Action Corps because they never knew it was a possibility, and just to have such a focus on it. I think a lot of what my work is learning how to communicate with different individuals as well, and just finding how people learn and listen. And it's all about the outreach at this point, getting people involved.
Josh, we've seen this big federal investment, haven't we, in green technology, in getting the country ready for climate change with the Inflation Reduction Act. There is an element here, isn't there, of beginning to train people to take on those green jobs as we move into the future?
It's a huge part of this, and we're seeing it happen now. It's one of the real success stories of Climate Corps, that we are helping train the future workforce for a green and sustainable economy. And we're doing it in a real way. And with the president creating the American Climate Corps and creating access to trainings and apprenticeship, what we're doing with Climate Corps is preparing for our future economy. And Julia is a perfect example where she's providing real capacity and support to a local community, San Diego, here in California, to help us prepare as a society. And we think we're just getting started.
Julia, I know you recently graduated from university. What comes next for you, and how do you think that this program will help maybe prepare you for the future?
Well, I can say I'm feeling quite prepared to take on the world post-fellowship. I think by being this fellow, I've become very well-rounded as a professional, and having the space to figure out what I like and what I'm good at. I am not only supported by my supervisors in professional development, but I've been encouraged to learn so many tasks. So I've done like Excel work, I've done the public outreach and education, I've done ArcGIS through our UC systems, like event management, public speaking, all of this I've been able to do through this program. So for me, with all that being said, I'm definitely ready to join the workforce and excited because there are so many positions out there now, especially in California. So I'll be applying for jobs and looking at graduate programs to apply to and see what happens next.
Josh, last word here to you. What do you tell other states who are looking to maybe implement something similar? When you have those kind of conversations, how do they go?
Well, Climate Corps is a win-win-win. It's a win for our young people who get to be part of solving this existential crisis and get the training and the building the networks and all the confidence that we heard from Julia today. It's a win for our society and our communities where our Climate Corps members are doing really important work to make our communities sustainable and green. And it's a win for our country as we get to prepare the future workforce of our nation to be prepared to take on this existential crisis. So it's a win-win-win for everyone, and it's why we've seen it be so successful here in California, and it's why we're also seeing it be successful as we start to spread it across the country.
Who doesn't love a win-win-win? Thanks for joining us here on BBC News.